Hi everybody, Sarah Grillo here. I have a comment here from a subscriber, a question that I'm going to share with you all. You might be having the same problem. I am a level 3 candidate. Usually before the exams I face difficulties. I need your advice. I always have a problem memorizing when it comes to level 3 with the writing session. I'm worried about whether I will remember or not. Is there any tactic to help me in regards to that matter? I have flashcards, but I don't think that's enough. Number 2, I've worked my studies through Schwezzer notes and first book volume exam only, and I truly understand from them, but I always hear from other videos on YouTube that EOC CFA questions and blue boxes are a must, and that puts some pressure on me as I only used Schwezzer notes. I'm currently going through my Schwezzer 5th exams, but to be honest, I'm not working under exam condition and almost am crunching. Answering the exam, and if I did not get it right, I go through the answers and understand my mistake and then make sure that I got it right and then jump to the next exam on the next day. I also don't put any pressure on myself by checking how much I think this person means by scoring the exams, but from one exam to the next, I still feel I don't see much difference from one exam to the other as they vary significantly. To the oil crisis, I've been laid off from my job. I'm not working. And I have to be in the country on the company visa that I used to work for to apply for other jobs. They have let me stay until the exam and not provided me with any compensation until I leave the country or I find another job, and I have the next 2 weeks until the exam day at home. Okay, so that's a 4th question. If I pass level 3 of the program and got to be a CFA charter holder, that would be the best thing that would happen to me, especially in this situation and in that time. And if you provided me with any advice, I will follow it. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Okay. Oh boy. So there's a lot here. Okay. So about the memorizing, well, everybody has different methods that work. I would try to use your iPhone or use audio or video recording where you go through and instead of just memorizing concepts, you imprint them in your mind by saying them back. That is a really useful technique. I'm sure that you've noticed that your comprehension of something is drastically improved by teaching it to another person, and that is because the information enters in the part of your brain where it really becomes reinforced and you understand it so much more deeply and more thoroughly. And the reason is that while you're explaining it to somebody else, you have to have mastered the concepts. So any questions that would come about as a result of that concept, you would have to tackle them before being able to articulate them to somebody else. So that I would recommend oral memorization techniques. Use mnemonic devices. Use flashcards. All of these methods I think would be useful. You've only worked through the Schwezzer notes and you're worried about I think EOC stands for end of chapter, blue boxes. Keep in mind, like sometimes people are selling things. Me here, I'm not really selling anything, okay? I mean, I am a business owner, I provide services, but they're more like helping people get jobs in investment management here. So I'm not selling a product per se. And I am independent on this. I'm not slanted by being associated with any test provider company. I would not say using only the Schwezzer notes is a bad thing because I always pass only using the Schwezzer notes and everybody is different. I use the Schwezzer notes in the practice exams. Very seldomly did I use the primary source materials, but I wouldn't get too hung up on that. Whatever is working for you, I think should work, and whether you do it with the blue boxes or the end of chapter CFA questions, the concepts are the concepts. So I would be more focused on what am I getting wrong? Am I getting things consistently wrong? Am I getting things wrong over and over again? And how do I improve upon that? And that can be what is really critical is the CFA study planner. If you don't have this, then email me. But you really need to get that because you need to be tracking your questions and figuring out what you're doing wrong. If you're not tracking what you're getting wrong, then you will consistently get the same things wrong over and over again. So what I'm saying is, like, yes, these are all great. There are many different methods, many different products to use, but at the core of it, if you're not processing it right and you're not understanding the patterns in your mind, then you will absolutely not make any progress. Okay, so this is about taking the exam and you're not working under exam condition. Okay, you quit it. Okay, you got to start replicating exam conditions, because your mind is like a muscle and you've got to train it so that you'll be less anxious on exam day, and also so that you can really heighten your performance, because when you're committed and serious about going in and taking a practice exam, it's going to be more of a true test of your knowledge, where if you're not focused, if you're on your iPhone, if you're like, I have Angry Birds on your cell phone open when you're doing this, or if you're getting phone calls or whatever, then it's really not going to be a good thing, because it's not going to accurately assess what your true capabilities are, because the practice exam won't really reflect anything other than a 50% or 60% effort. It's going to be inconsistent. It's going to be an inconsistent evaluation. So I'm not surprised when you say that you take the time to understand your mistakes and then go on to the next exam the next day. In my study planner, I do not recommend doing that. You should not be doing an exam a day. One exam a day? No. You should be doing an exam, next day grade it, correct it, understand, and correct. Then a practice exam. Then next day feed it, correct it, score it. You should absolutely be scoring these. Yes, I know you might not want it to be putting pressure on you, but if you don't like pressure now, then you're not going to like pressure on exam day. You got to get a little bit tougher here mentally, okay? Record the scores, and if you do that and you're disciplined about making progress in the way that I said, then you should see the scores going up, theoretically. So this whole thing about you've been laid off for cost-cutting reasons and you've been getting a visa to apply for other jobs. I mean, pretty tough to be the last 2 weeks applying for jobs as well as studying for the exam. I mean, if you are on level 3, that's pretty good. That would definitely make you a more attractive candidate than somebody who doesn't have the other 2 levels passed. But I would say if you can manage to not have to worry too much about finding a job at this point, I would focus on the CFA. You've put so much effort so far, you've come so far, and you're saying that they have let you stay until the exam. It's a little confusing here the way that this is written, but I mean, this is general advice for anybody that's like working on a job search right now. I wouldn't go too far. I mean, you could put like half an hour in every day or something like that, but like in terms of interviewing, or I mean, like when you do a really good job search, it is a full-time job itself and something you definitely have to be committed to if you want it to come out right. So, I mean, other than like maybe trolling around a little bit on LinkedIn, I wouldn't be dedicating too much time. It doesn't look like they're really looking to kick you out the door at this minute. But anybody who's looking for a job or anything going on with your work, I would try to diminish that, because all the investment that you've put in is going to go to waste. This is a vital time. This is very critical that you be focused on the exam at this point, and you don't want to have, because you've definitely compromised your work up until this point, right? You've definitely compromised your dedication to your job at times by pursuing the CFA. And so make that investment pay off. One investment has to pay off, and then go to the next, invest the time in finding a new job. But like, don't mess up this investment of time at this point by getting distracted. So let me know what you think. And by the way, it's really helpful to me in terms of getting the word out so I can help more people. If everybody could just forward this video to like 5 of their friends. Okay, please subscribe and forward this video. It'd be really helpful to me and to the community at large. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks.